Well, I'm here with Leann Saunders, who, with her husband John, heads up Where Food Comes From, Inc., which we've known in the past as IMI Global. Give us some of the background of the company and what this company does.
So we've been in business for 17 years. My husband founded the company 17 years ago, and from the beginning we've been focused on livestock identification and traceability, and have evolved through the years to focusing now on verification and certification of what we call credence attributes in the production system.
So what do you see as some of the trends? We're here at the International Livestock Congress and talking about a lot of consumer issues and consumer perceptions. What do you see as some of the trends in terms of these verifications and the kinds of information that consumers want, and how producers can work to verify some of their processes?
So when you look at the issue of animal ID and traceability and some of the topics that we're going to talk about this afternoon, specifically on the panel that I'm moderating, the future is most of the world is engaged in some sort of traceability system, and the U.S. has been looking at that for a number of years, primarily focused on what I call private industry initiatives around story beef opportunities. So for brands in the initiatives to sell themselves against each other, to offer unique opportunities for the consumer. What we heard earlier today was the need to further connect with the consumer as they want to know more about where their food comes from, so we can create that level of trust. So that's a lot about what we're focused on as a company, and a lot of what we're going to talk about this afternoon, other companies that are trying to provide that conversation with the consumer through identity preservation of our cattle.
And I know this is somewhat unrelated, but we have a new rule coming up in the United States for animal disease traceability, and of course this is focused on disease, but it still ties in with some of the other source and process verifications, and I'm sure is compatible in a lot of cases, but might in some other cases require a little extra effort on the part of the producers for at least certain types of cattle. What are you hearing from some of your customers and the people you work with as to maybe what some of the challenges are, or what they're expecting as that rule comes into play in March?
Very good question. I think it's a great first start. We've been working on this for a number of years, so ADT, from our perspective, is a good first step. Now, that particular program right now is totally focused on animal disease traceback and focused on breeding cattle at this point in time, so cattle 18 months of age or younger. So most of our customers that we're working on are working on more on the feeder cattle, market cattle side of the equation. So what we're seeing, and we're engaged in a lot of industry initiatives that are engaging most of the data service providers, a lot of states, and really looking at, okay, how do we take kind of that base level that ADT has established and take it to the next level from a commercial application perspective. When we look at the growth in what I call verification over the last really 6, 7 to 8 years, a lot of that's been focused on export market demand and ways to get product within those specific export markets. So it's become kind of a cost of doing business in those particular markets. But as a result, because all of the supply is not doing that today, there have been added premiums in the marketplace for producers engaged in that program. And we've continued to see those evolve into branding claims and other types of programs where, again, you create brand trust with the consumer. They want credibility behind that. So that's really the growth that we're seeing in verification and certification, and that's been win-win for producers and those brands marketing that to consumers.